हरि ओम। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गाये नमः। ओम श्री राम रामाय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। भवानी शङ्करौ वन्दे श्रद्धा विश्वासरूपिणौ याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धा स्वान्तस्तमीश्वरम्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगताम् अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमः शिवाय 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 ॐ नमः शिवाय। नमः पार्वतीपतये। हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम हरि ओम। So this chapter begins with Arjuna's question regarding Shraddha. So Bhagavan replies that there are three types of Shraddha: Satvik, Rajasic and Tamasic. And if one has got, one worships Ishvara or the Devatas with faith, then that faith is Satvik Shraddha. But if one has got faith in Yaksha, Rakshasa, it is Rajasic, and Bhut, Pret one worships, that is Tamasic. Bhagavan says that one should first nourish the body, mind, senses through good food. So Satvik Ahar one should take, and then should perform Yajna Dana Tapak Karma regularly to further purify our Antakarana. So Bhagavan described three types of Yajna, the Satvik, Rajasic and Tamasic. And now Bhagavan is describing the three types of tapas, which are again further three types. Means the Sharirik, Vachik and Mansik tapa. The tapas at the level of the body, speech and mind, which are again Satvik, Rajasic and Tamasic. So worshipping the Devatas, worshipping the Dvija, the Brahmanas, worshipping Guru, worshipping wise person, and also following the discipline of cleanliness of the body and straightforward in one's interaction with the world, observing brahmacharya, control over sense pleasure, and ahimsa, non-violence, that is sharirik tapas. Then observe control over our speech by speaking only words which are not disturbing to others, which are truthful, which are expressed pleasantly, which are for the welfare of one is addressing, or welfare of the world. Also, one uses the speech for swadhyaya, for regular chanting of the stotras, mantras, suktas, and do this abhyas, regular practice of chanting the mantras, stotras, etc. That is considered as Vangmaya Tapa. And all these factors, when one utters the words, all the factors should be included. Anudvekakaram Satyam Priyahitam. Even if one is missing, then that is not considered as Vangmaya Tapa. Shankaracharya ji in his commentary, he writes, Ki yat satyam vakyam anudvekakaram priyahitam cha yat tat paramam tapo vangmayam. So that word which is satyam, anudvekakaram, which doesn't create agitation, which is priya, which is very pleasant, and hitam, for the welfare, this is Vangmaya Tapa. And Shankaracharya ji in his commentary also gives an example very sweetly. He says, Ki yatha shanto bhavavatsa swadhyayam yogancha anutishta tatha te shreyo bhavishyati. Like somebody is telling a person that tatha shanto bhava, that please be calm, be peaceful. Oh my dear son, oh my dear friend, be peaceful, be calm. Swadhyayam yogancha anutishta, do some swadhyaya, follow the path of yoga, do some sadhana. Tathate shreyo bhavishyati, this will be good for you, it will be for your welfare. So in this way, to speak for the welfare of others pleasantly, nicely, the truth is what is called Vangmay Tapa. Tapas at the level of our speech. Then the tapas at the level of our mind, Bhagwan now describes in verse number 16. We shall chant verse 16. Mana prasada somyatvam maunamatma vinigraha bhava samshuddhirittetata tapo manasamuchyate. Bhagwan says this is manasa tapas. And when we do this manas tapa, it purifies our mind. So what is manas tapa? Mana prasadaha. Manasaha prashantihi swachata padanam manasa prasadaha. The purity and the cleanliness of our mind. Making the mind clean and pleasant and happy. Mana prasad also means happiness, the inner joy. One should make the mind happy within by doing our sadhana and recognizing that joy within. One should keep the mind happy. See, when we keep on looking outside for our joy, for our pleasure, then the mind is always restless, always unhappy, always it feels incomplete. But when we teach the mind to feel happy within, to feel happy just being, that then slowly the mind gains that joy within, manaprasad. When we do our kartavya karma, offering it to Bhagwan, slowly and steadily the mind becomes pure and one gains that happiness within. One feels a great sense of calmness and joy within, unconditional, means without any external condition. That is manaprasad. In the second chapter also, Bhagwan had talked about this prasad, ki prasade sarva dukkhanam hanirasyopa. If one has got this prasad, it destroys all sorrow. And prasanna chetaso yashu buddhi paryavatishthati. And one who has got this prasad will attain that meditation easily. One can dive within and gain that state of meditation. So manaprasadam is a manas tapa. Then somyatvam. Somyatvam yas somanasyam ahuhu mukhadi prasada karya antakaranasya vrittihi. This somyatvam also is antakaran vritti, which even expresses on our face as a smile, as a pleasant face. Mukhadi prasada karya. It makes us, it even expresses in our eyes, on our face, in our other expression, the joy which is there within. It comes out on the face. That is somyatvam. Many times we see a person and we say, oh, he's so nice, oh, so pleasant. We may not have interacted with that person, but just looking at that person, one feels the joy, the inner beauty, the inner calmness pouring out on his face, on that person's face. That's called somya, somyatvam, gentleness, calmness, peace, joy, expressing on the face, but it is due to the vritti of the antakarana. So to develop this vritti is a manas tapa. Then maunam. Maunam is control over our tongue, control over speaking. that control happens only with the inner control, with the control of our mind. Therefore, here Maunam is included in Manas Tapa. Shankaracharya ji in his commentary writes ki Maunam Vak Sayyamaha, control of the Vak, Vani. Api Manas Sayyama Purvako Bhavati. This also happens only when we have control over our mind. So, absolute control over our speech. Mauna doesn't mean that totally go into silence, but should have total control, that only when it is necessary one speaks, one expresses, whether through speech or through writing or whatever, but only when it is necessary, in minimum words one expresses, otherwise remains silent. Like Hanumanji. Hanumanji went to Lanka, he burned at Lanka and met Sita ji, got her message, and he again flew back. He came back to all the Vanaras who were waiting for him. And very interesting, Tulsidas ji writes that they were curious that what happened. They wanted to know, all these other Vanaras wanted to know. So whatever they asked, Hanumanji used to reply. By himself he did not tell all the stories and all. But whatever was asked, he answered. Otherwise he kept quiet. So total quietude of the mind gets expressed on the quietude of our tongue also. See, one whose mind is hollow, empty, they keep on expressing too much in their speech also. As they say, empty vessel makes more noise. But a person who is deep, profound, whose mind is calm, peaceful, wise, will be very limited in his expression also. Will only express when it is absolutely necessary, and all these conditions are followed. Anudvegakaram vakyam satyam priya hitancha yata. Then only will speak, otherwise will remain mauna. Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi, when he came to Tiruvannamalai, he just remained silent, doing his sadhana, and just in his own world, as though absolutely in Mauna only. People used to call him Mauni Swami. And thereafter people came to him, and whenever they asked some question, they wanted to know something, he will answer, otherwise remain Mauna. Not unnecessarily keep on speaking or asking or telling something, no. So that is called Maunam. And when we practice this, our mind also start becoming more and more calm and peaceful. There is a very interesting story in our Upanishad, I think in Chandogya Upanishad, that a teacher tells the student that you take these cows and go to the forest and stay there. And when they become 1,000, you come back to the ashram. So he stayed in the forest alone with the cows, taking care of them, but no other human beings. So just being with nature, being with the cows, just being there, his mind became more and more calm and peaceful, because there was no need to talk. There was no need to express. So just remaining silent there, Antakaran became so calm, peaceful and pure that when he came back to the ashram, he was a totally transformed person. So this Mauna is a very, very important and interesting sadhana, that whenever possible, in the sense in whatever way possible, one should try to practice this mauna. Even when one is alone, one keeps on talking to oneself or keep on saying something. That also should not be there. Even when we are speaking to some other person or we are having a dialogue with someone, we don't bother to listen to that person also. We just wait for him to stop speaking so that I can tell my bit. Just like you see nowadays on the news channel also, they have this so-called dialogue, but everyone speaks together. Nobody is interested to listen to the other person. And they keep on shouting and quarreling. So when we observe this mauna, it is one of the most interesting sadhana. It can quieten our mind. Stop talking to yourself also. Keep on having a monologue within. So the mind becomes absolutely calm, peaceful. So this is a tapas at the level of our mind, maunam. And atma vinigraha. See, one is controlling the mind to control our tongue, but atma vinigraha is controlling the mind to control other organs also. Even our hands, our legs, our other sense organs can be controlled, their activities can be controlled by controlling the mind. So too much of unnecessary activity is also not self-control. So when we have that self-control, all our actions, all our expressions will be well measured and proper. Beautiful. Then it is a great joy to see that person also. If he is sitting, then he will just sit quietly. If he is walking, he will walk very beautifully. If he is speaking, he will speak in a measured way, properly, very gently. Whatever work that person does it very efficiently. So there is a beauty which is expression of the control of our mind, expressing at the level of the senses and the karmendriyas. So that is called atma vinigraha, self-control. And bhava samshuddhihi. What is bhava samshuddhihi? Paraihi vyavahara kale amayavitvam bhava samshuddhihi. Shankaracharya ji says that while dealing with others, to be very clean in our interaction, without having any ulterior motives, without having any guile, any negativity in our mind, to deal with other people in a very clean, pure, gentle way. Attitude in interaction with the world should be very clean. That is bhavasham shuddhihi. That is also manas tapas. See, we cannot see the mind, it is very subtle. But the mind, the thoughts and the emotions and the samskars in the mind gets expressed through our behavior. So if we observe our behavior and make it more and more clean and proper and gentle, then our mind will also automatically becomes pure. So it's called bhava samshuddhihi. So iti etat tapo manasam uchyate. This is manas tapa. Manaprasadam, saumyatvam, maunam, atma vinigraha, bhava samshuddhihi are manas tapa. So Bhagwan explained this tapa, sharirik tapa, vachik tapa and manas tapa. These are three types of tapa, but these three types of tapa are further again of three types, means sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. So that Bhagwan now explains in the following verses. So yatoktam kayikam vachikam manasancha tapaha taptam naraihi sattvadi bhedena katham trividam bhavati. So how are these three types? What is sattvic tapas, rajasic tapa, tamasic tapa? That Bhagwan now explains. Verse number 17. Shraddhaya paraya taptam tapastatrividham naraihi afalakankshibhir yuktaihi sattvikam parichakshite. Sattvikam parichakshate. Bhagwan says Shraddhaya paraya taptam. That these three types of tapas, sharirik, vachik and mansik, should be pursued with Shraddha. When it is pursued, when it is practiced with Paraya Shraddha, with supreme Shraddha, tapas trividham naraihi, a human being with supreme Shraddha means sattvic Shraddha, observes this threefold tapas, afalakangshibihi, without having an eye on the result, without some ulterior motive, without expectation of a result, external result. When the person does this, follows this tapas, afalakangshibihi yuktaihi sattvikam parichakshate, that is called sattvic tapas. So sharirik tapa done with faith, without expectation. The sharirik tapa we have seen, Deva Dvija Guru Pradnya Pujanam. So serving the Guru, serving the Devatas, serving the wise person and all is done without expectation, without having any ulterior motive, as an expression of one's faith, as an expression of one's gratitude. That is sattvic tapas. Also, following the cleanliness or straightforwardness of brahmacharya, ahimsa, all this is done without having any ulterior motive, with pure faith. Also the vachik tapas, the words which one utters, the swadhyaya which one does, is also done out of love, out of that sense of gratitude, without expecting anything, not as a vyavahar, but out of my love. Even this manas tapa is done without expectation of any result. Is called sattvic tapas. See, this Shraddha we have seen, that sattvic Shraddha, rajasic Shraddha, tamasic Shraddha. When we have Shraddha, let us think a little bit. See, we have seen before that this Atma, the pure Atma, which is expressing within as the Pratyek Atma, as the Kshetrajna, is different from the gross body as well as the subtle body. I am different from the gross body as well as the subtle body. But both this body, the gross and the subtle body, are like upadhis, are like conditionings. As long as this avidya is there, this conditioning is there, and through this conditioning I function. So I consider myself karta, bhokta, jnata. Because of this conditioning, I become karta, bhokta, jnata. So a person who believes that I am the gross body, the dehatmavadi, one who considers that I am the gross physical body, and once I die, nothing remains. So such a person doesn't have that faith in dharma. Such a person doesn't have faith in Ishvara. So they are like the asuri, vritti people, asuras, that we have seen. But those who believe that I am different from this gross body, they may believe that I am the sukshma sharir. So those who believe the sukshma sharir as atma, which is different from the physical body, which remains even when the physical body falls down dead, which goes from one body to another body, or which goes from one loka to another loka. Such people who have faith that I am this sukshma sharir, they believe in dharma, they believe in papa punya, they believe in the shastras which talk about dharma, they believe in Ishvara, they believe in the devatas. So they are the dharmic people. But as our mind becomes more and more pure through satsang, through our sadhana, when we come to understand that I am different from this subtle body also. I am not only different from the gross body, but I am different from the subtle body. I am that pratyak atma, the kshetrajna, the purusha, who is the witness of this sukshma sharir and sthula sharir. Such a person becomes fit to follow the path of spirituality. Such a person becomes adhyatmic, wants to pursue the spiritual path and recognize his own self and become free. So, a dharmic person, when he comes to understand that I am different even from the subtle body, I am that Atma, wants to pursue this path to recognize that Atma, becomes a spiritual person. So on the path of spirituality, also we should continue to act, continue to work, continue to do our sadhana, but with nishkam bhavana, offering all our actions to Ishvara, without expectation, without attachment to the results of action. And that is what is said here. Bhagavan says ki afala kangshabhihi yuktaihi. So person who pursues this spiritual path, having that immense faith in the Shastra, in the teacher, in that Ishvara, in his own Supreme Self, with that faith does the tapas, sharirik, vachik, mansik tapas, with nishkam bhavna, to purify his mind. That is afalakangshibihi. Yogina karma kurvanti sangam tyaktva atma vishuddhaye, to purify the mind. So afalakangshibihi yuktaihi satvikam parichakshate. Such a person is that tapas done in this way is called satvik tapas. Satvik tapas. Satvikam parichakshate. But those who are not on this spiritual path will not be able to do this karma with nishkam bhavana, without expectation of a particular result. They will have an eye on the result, some worldly result they want. So when we perform the same, this tapas, with expectation of the result, without that nishkam bhavana, without that samarpanam, without dedicating our actions to Ishvara, then that tapas become rajasic. So that rajasic tapa is now described in the following verse. Satkaramana pujartham tapodambhena chaivayata kriyate tadiha proktam rajasam chalamadhruvam. Bhagavan says, one who does this sharirik, vachik and mansik tapa, satkara pujartham, for getting recognition from world, for satkar, कि अपना सत्कार हो, that I should be honored, people should recognize me as a very great person. Shankaracharya ji writes कि सत्कारः साधुकारः साधु अयम tapasvi brahmanah iti, कि I am such a great person, I am a brahmana, I am a sadhu, I am doing this great tapas. So in order to get this type of attention from the world, also for man, for special reverence from others, कि people should recognize me, they should stand up when I come. Manaha prati utthanaabhivadanaadibihi, कि when I approach they should stand up, they should welcome me, they should garland me, they should honor me. With that intention they do this tapas, they do some seva for recognition, so that people appreciate them, with this intention. And this we see many places. Even when people are serving a Mahatma, they will just, many times they will just show off, so that people, they come to know that person is such a great devotee. He is garlanding that Mahatma, he is doing namaskar, he is offering him special shawl or nariyal or something. But that person does it so that he gets recognition in the society. So all this is a rajasic tapas, not out of love, not out of gratitude, not out of dedication, not out of faith. So satkara mana puja artham, the people should do my puja, they should honor me, respect me, कि I am a big tapasvi. So tapas done in this way, with this attitude, with dambha. Dambha means with hypocritically, to show off, to show the world. Personally, when that person is alone, or may not have that attitude in his mind, or when interacts with a great person alone, may not show that reverence, but when in public or in some special program, will make a big show of seva, may also have his own people clicking photographs and publishing them. So this is all dambha, dambhena. So satkaramana pujartham dambhena chaiva tapodambena chaiva yata kriyate tadiha proktam rajasam. So such a tapas done is rajasic tapa. And chalam adhruvam, and such tapas are very flimsy, very chanchal, means the result of this tapas is temporary. Antakaran Shuddhi will not happen. They may get some recognition in the world outside, which is a very flimsy and temporary result for such a divine sadhana like tapas. Instead of gaining the chitta shuddhi, they will get some flimsy things in this world. Some photograph in some newspaper, some few people commenting and saying, wow, wow, very nice, such a holy person. So Bhagavan says the result is chalam and adhruvam, is changing and unstable result. So this is rajasic tapas, whether it is at the sharirik level, at the vachik level or the mansik level. Even their words will not be genuine. They will try to say something very nice and all, but it will not come from their heart. It will be just to please the other person so that he is recognized. This person gets recognized in the world as a good person. So dambha at all levels. Even manasik, his tapas will be filled with dambha, with hypocrisy, show. So this is rajasic tapa, which should not be done. We should do only sattvic tapas if we want to pursue the spiritual path sincerely and attain our supreme goal. We should make all our sadhanas sattvic. So with sattvic shraddha, with sattvic ahar, with sattvic yajna, one should do this sattvic tapas also. But there are those whose tapas are even bad, worse than rajasic. It is tamasic. So what is tamasic tapa? That Bhagavan says, Mudha grahenatmano yata pidhaya kriyate tapaha parasyotsadanartam va tattamasamudahritam. Bhagavan says that such tapa is tamasic, which is done with mudhakrahena, with mudata, with foolishness, without proper understanding, with some foolish idea. Some people do ghor sharirik tapas. Instead of doing seva, they will torture their own body. They will do vigorous some tapas, sleeping on the floor or experiencing heat or living in cold, so hurting their own body. Some foolish idea. So mudhakrahena, with a foolish understanding, atmana yat pidaya, they not only hurt themselves, but they hurt others also. Atmanaha pidaya kriyate yat tapaha parasya utsadanartham. So not only hurting themselves, torturing their own body, their mind, their speech, their senses, but they also hurt others in the bargain. It's the tapas, tamasic tapa, not prescribed by the scriptures. People have their own strange ideas. Just as they sometimes these people trying to control others, they also use violence. So in the same way, they use violence towards themselves. violence towards their own body, their mind, torturing them, suppressing them, constantly irritating oneself, and doing all this in the name of spirituality, in the name of religion. Mudhagrahena yat pidaya kriyate tapaha parasya utsadanartham. And sometimes it is done to actually positively harm someone. Tapas is done to harm others, so that others should suffer. Person was sitting there in the forest. So somebody asked, why are you sitting here? It's a dangerous forest, tigers are there. He said, yes, I am sitting so that the tiger can come and will eat me. And the tiger will become a man-eater, and the tiger will go to the village and eat others also. So such foolish, tamasic ideas that they harm themselves and they harm others also. Thoughtlessly doing that sadhana, fasting foolishly, torturing the body foolishly, uttering words foolishly, torturing the mind. So these are all tamasic tapas, and it definitely doesn't help. So what we should do, we recognize our own antakarana and do sattvic tapas. So that is the sadhana. Okay, the tamasic and rajasic is mentioned here, described here, so that we can recognize them and give them up, renounce them. Okay. Now, after explaining the three types of ahar, then the three types of yajna, three types of tapas, now Bhagwan talks about three types of dana. So let us chant verse number 20. Datavyamiti yaddanam diyate nupakarine deshe kale cha patre cha taddanam satvikam smritam. Bhagwan says that this dana is called satvik if it is done in this way. How? Datavyamiti yaddanam. Datavyam means it should be done. It is my kartavya. See, this dana is our kartavya karma. This yajna dana tapa is kartavya karma. In the 18th chapter also Bhagwan will tell us that one should never give up yajna dana tapa karma. Should be done regularly. So dana is also our kartavya. Dana is to share what we have with others around. In a simple way, that is the meaning of dana. To share. To share our wealth. To share our all these provisions. Clothes, food, shelter, land, other things which we have, animal, cows and all, Godan, Bhudan, Annadan, Vidyadan, even knowledge. Share with the world. See, if it is kept with us only, ultimately we have to leave this world and go. So, we cannot take anything with us, and it will be thereafter, after our death, others will use it in whatever way they want. But as long as we are alive, if we utilize all this in dana, it will not only help others, but it will definitely purify our own mind also and give us great inner joy. So dana, dete jao. Whatever And the great thing is that whatever we share, it comes to us. It comes to us in some other way so that we again can share. The more we share, the more Bhagwan gives us also. So datavyam iti, one should. And the beauty of this dana is that everyone has got something or other with them. See, nobody is totally poor. Everyone has got something. If not material thing, we have our own body, we have our own mind, we have our tongue. So even to speak nicely with people is dan only. To smile, to give a smile to someone is also dan. To spend some time with someone, somebody is not well, alone in the hospital or somewhere, spend some time with that person, read some book to that person, or just sit quietly, chant some mantras. It's also dan only. You're giving your time, you're giving your comfort, you're giving your good words, you are giving your good thoughts. Even praying for someone is like a dan only. We are praying for somebody's health, somebody's welfare, or Vidya Dana. Now all of you are listening to this Bhagavad Gita. So it is not only you are learning, but you should share what you have learned with others also, so that more and more people come to understand this, come to understand the beauty of these great scriptures. They are so beautiful. And unfortunately, it is not known so much as much it should be known. It is not known in the world. Many people, they just think it is just a book which they have to worship, so they keep doing arti and offer some flowers. Or they think that Bhagavad Gita is something which is used only in the courts, where they take the shapat. फिल्मों में वही देखते थे हम, मैं गीता पर हाथ रख कर कसम खाता हूँ, I will tell the truth and all those things. But it's the most fascinating, beautiful text which not only guide us how to live in this world, but also how to make our life after death also beautiful, and ultimately to gain that moksha. So we should share our knowledge, we should share our talents, we should share our wealth, we should share our clothes and food and whatever with others. That is our duty. So datavyamiti yad danam diyate, and it should be given anupakarine. Anupakarine means without expecting anything in return. If we expect something in return, then that is not called dan, then it becomes vyavahar. You go to the market and you give lot of money to the shopkeeper. It cannot be called dan, because you are giving to buy something in return. You cannot say that I have done lot of dana to the shopkeeper, in the mall. I go regularly to the restaurant to give dana. That cannot be called dana, because you are expecting something in return. But when we give without expecting anything in return, na anupakarine, prati upakara asamarthaya, means even those who cannot return anything, those who are not capable of repaying, giving us anything in return, to them also we should give. See, even animals, birds, plants, we serve them, we take care of them. That's also done only, without expecting anything in return. Or you go to a Tirtha Kshetra, go to some other place, and you meet some person who is not who needs something, and you share. You never expect to meet that person again or see that person. So without expectation one gives. That is called anupakarine. And even to those who have the capacity to return, one gives without expectation, without expecting anything in return. I am giving out of my own joy, not to gain something, to get some money back, or to get some special recognition. No, out of my joy, I am giving. Just like the sun, out of its own joy and out of its own nature, it gives, it shines the whole world with its light and heat. It just gives. The clouds, they just pour the rains without expecting anything in return. The trees, they just give the flowers and the fruits without expecting anything. Like that, one should just give. Be a giver. Not keep on asking and begging and taking from others, but one should give. And when we make ourselves capable of giving, we become more capable of giving. Dana. Great power comes through dana. Suddatavyamiti yad danam diyate anupakarine, without expecting anything in return. Deshe kale cha patre cha, should be given in proper place, at proper time and to proper person. Proper place, proper time, proper person. Deshe kale cha patre cha tad danam satvikam smritam. Shankaracharya ji writes, Deshe means in some good Punya Kshetra and all, Punya Kurukshetra adho, in a holy place, in a good place where things are nice. One should give that wealth because it then gets expressed nicely in a sattvic way. Then at the right time also, there are certain time which is very, very auspicious, or when it is required for that person, proper time for the person whom we are giving. Many times people don't take care of their own parents, they treat them so badly. But once they are dead and gone, they will do elaborate all the rituals and all, spending lot of money and this and that and making a big show. No doubt Shraddha should be done, but they should be taken care of when they are there also. So at the right time, to the right people. Shadanga vidved parage ityadav. To person who is genuine, a wise person, a person who is well versed in the scriptures. Shankaracharya says, Shadanga vidved parage, one who knows the Vedas along with all the 6 anga, means to right person, patra. Sahi patra ko dena chahiye. Later on, Bhagwan will talk about the Rajasic and Tamasic, which they give dana to such bad people, which creates more confusion and sorrow in the world. Money given to negative people, to asuras, to negative forces, they create more havoc in the world. But when it is spent positively for good people, for good cause, in the right time, it becomes very beneficial to the whole society also. So deshe kale cha patre cha tad danam satvikam smritam. So such dana is called satvik dana. Okay. After this, Bhagwan will talk about a Rajasic and Tamasic dana. And then there are some very interesting shlokas before Bhagwan concludes this chapter. So we will see more about this in our class tomorrow. So till then, you take care, be happy, safe, peaceful, healthy, do your work, do your sadhana. Do your sadhana of sattvic ahar. Take sattvic food, do sattvic yajna, and do sattvic tapas, and do sattvic dan. यज्ञ दान तपक कर्म अच्छी तरह से करो, आपका बेड़ा जो है वो पार हो जाएगा. ओके, एंड वी शैल मीट अगेन टुमारो. हरि ओम. श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम. 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 जय जय राम जय जय राम. बोलिए सियावर रामचंद्र भगवान की जय. ओम पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ओम शांति शांति शांति. हरि ओम. श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. हरि ओम.